The BJP-Shiv Sena alliance is all set to form government again in Maharashtra, but not with the landslide that it had hoped for. And Haryana has thrown up an unexpected cliffhanger with the BJP and the Congress locked in dead heat, with the JJP, Dushyant Chautala's party, emerging as the kingmaker. What was expected to be a drab counting day has yet again shown that the Indian voter is unpredictable and no one can predict her mind. Here are the 5 key takeaways from these assembly election results. The first and most important is that old war horses whose obituaries were written by the media and political pundits still count for a lot. Remember this image of Sharad Pawar campaigning even though he was rain-drenched, continuing his speech as the rain fell on him? This in many ways came to be the defining image of the Maharashtra Assembly elections. And while of course Devendra Fadnavis will be the next Chief Minister, Pawar has shown the opposition how to fight the mighty BJP. Even though in the run-up to the campaign, the Enforcement Directorate actually started investigating him in a banking scam along with his nephew Ajit Pawar, Sharad Pawar remained unfazed. In fact, he volunteered that he would appear before the Enforcement Directorate till the ED had to say, "No thank you Mr. Pawar, we'll call you when it's needed." Sharad Pawar is now all set to displace his parent party, the Congress, as the principal opposition in Maharashtra. This was a do-or-die election for him and he gave it everything that he had. This is in direct contrast to many of his colleagues in the Congress who have been sulking and have refused to fight from the front like Sharad Pawar did. A similar story can be told for Bhupinder Singh Hooda in Haryana. Although the Congress did not name him as its chief ministerial candidate and Hooda was almost on the verge of forming his own breakaway party, and eventually that did not happen, Hooda still gave the fight everything that he had. And he has managed to keep the Congress in contention, even though it will be the smaller JJP that has emerged as kingmaker and quite literally holds the key to who will form the next government in Haryana. That said, both of these men, Sharad Pawar and Bhupinder Hooda, have proved that they have more fire in their belly than many of the so-called young Turks of the opposition. And they've also shown that old-style politics and politicians are much more effective than the next gen's Khan market Twitter politicians. The second big takeaway, the economy is beginning to assert a political cost on the BJP. Now, so far, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah have managed to keep the focus in campaign after campaign on non-economic issues. So issues like the abrogation of Article 370, nationalism, the policy against Pakistan, Hindutva, these are all issues that have perhaps taken the heat off the problems and the slump in the economy. But the Haryana vote in particular shows that people do care about whether they have roti kapra and makan, and most importantly, they care about jobs. It is no coincidence that the unemployment rate in Haryana is actually the highest at a little over 27% and is in fact 3 times the national average. So this is a wake-up call to the Modi government and in particular to state governments led by the BJP that the economy does matter and is beginning to assert a cost. The third takeaway, the BJP has often hoped that strong leadership will transcend caste. And certainly when it comes to national elections, the Narendra Modi factor does work in that way. But at the regional level, at the local level, clearly caste identity still matters. Once again, nowhere is this more evident than in Haryana, where the JAT factor has clearly played a role in creating the kind of cliffhanger that has been thrown up by these assembly elections. The JATs seem to have in part rallied behind the JJP, giving it a kingmaker role, and some of the JAT vote has also gone to the Congress. The fact that the BJP has continued to back a non-JAT chief minister in Manohar Lal Khattar has definitely played a part in how the BJP has performed. Fourth, the Congress is probably a happy party today. It literally gave up on these elections and yet it's done so much better than either it or anyone else expected. But that does not change the fact that these results actually highlight many of the severe flaws in the Congress decision-making process. In fact, A young congressman on the condition of anonymity said to me about these results that what it shows is that the policy of rewarding loudmouths in the party who do not have a performance record, and in particular he was referencing leaders like Ashok Tanwar in Haryana and Sanjay Nirupam in Maharashtra, that policy of rewarding those who do not have effectiveness over those who actually work on the ground has today been called in question by these results. And the Congress must reflect on why it did not more clearly back a Bhupinder Hooda over an Ashok Tanwar, who eventually in any case had a sulky public fit and left the ranks. But Mr. Tanwar at one point was Rahul Gandhi's favoured persona in Haryana. So the Congress needs to reflect on much of its decision-making process and this so-called tussle between the old and the newer guard, when in many cases it is the old guard that is still delivering results for the party. And finally, while the assembly elections do not call into question Narendra Modi's personal popularity, it does show that where Narendra Modi is not the main factor, in other words, in local elections, in state elections, the BJP can still be vulnerable, much more vulnerable than it is at the national level. In fact, the data shows that a similar sort of pattern emerged in the 4 assembly elections just before the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Remember the numbers of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh? And then of course, a couple of months later, the BJP still managed total domination in the national elections. What these assembly elections remind us is that the Indian voter still distinguishes between a state election and a national election. And the Modi factor cannot be counted on to override all local and state level issues. This has been an extremely intriguing election day, and once again it has reminded our politicians to never take the Indian voter for granted.